think we got it, the life we wanted. It feels like everything is
Sleep, baby.
going our way.
Wow.
Mother Earth, I'm connecting to the future.
Are you ready? Ready.
Let's start.
We are live.
Hello, world.
Days ours if we just take it. There's no reason we should waste it. There's no miss. Ready now for all that's coming. We're standing at the edge of all that lies ahead. We got it, the life we wanted. It feels like everything is going our way. I think we made it after all the waiting. It feels like everything is going our way. We put every doubt behind
Daniel,
us. All the hope we hold
what did you see?
defines us.
Mama, a bigger fish.
It's called narwhal.
Tomorrow and every single day.
Honey, Daniel is learning something new.
Oh, Daddy saw your painting. Daddy's black magic will surprise you. Place this order for my son.
Order confirmed.
The life we wanted. It feels like everything is going our way. I think we made it after all the waiting. It feels like everything is going our way. The day is ours and we can take it. Open up your arms, embrace it. Oh, I think we got it, the life we wanted. It feels like everything is
Sleep, baby.
going our way.
Wow.
Mother Earth, I'm connecting to the future.
Are you ready? Ready.
Let's start.
We are live.
Hello, world.
Days ours if we just take it. There's no reason we should waste it. There's no miss. Ready now for all that's coming. We're standing at the edge of all that lies ahead. We got it. The life we wanted. It feels like everything is going our way. I think we made it after all the waiting. It feels like everything is going our way. We put every doubt behind
Daniel,
us. All the hope we hold
what did you see?
us.
Mama, a bigger fish.
It's called narwhal.
Tomorrow and every single day.
Honey, Daniel is learning something new.
Oh, Daddy saw your painting. Daddy's black magic will surprise you. Place this order for my son.
Order confirmed.
The life we wanted. It feels like everything is going our way. I think we made it after all the waiting. It feels like everything is going our way. The day is ours and we can take it. Open up your arms, embrace it. Oh, I think we got it. The life we wanted. It feels like everything is
Sweet baby.
going our way.
Wow.
Mother Earth, I'm connecting to the future.
Are you ready? Ready.
Let's start.
We are live.
Hello, world.
Days is ours if we just take it. There's no reason we should waste it. There's no miss. Ready now for all that's coming. We're standing at the edge of all that lies ahead. We got it, the life we wanted. It feels like everything is going our way. I think we made it after all the waiting. It feels like everything is going our way. We put every doubt behind
Daniel,
us. All the hope we hold
what did you see?
defines us.
Mama, a bigger fish.
It's called narwhal.
Tomorrow and every single day.
Honey, Daniel is learning something new.
Oh, Daddy saw your painting. Daddy's black magic will surprise you. Place this order for my son.
Order confirmed.
The life we wanted. It feels like everything is going our way. I think we made it after all the waiting. It feels like everything is going our way.
To whom I love.
The day is ours and we can take it. Open up your arms, embrace it. Oh, I think we got it. The life we wanted. It feels like everything is
sleep, baby.
going our way.
Wow.
Mother Earth, I'm connecting to the future.
Are you ready? Ready.
Let's start.
We are live.
Hello, world.
Day is ours if we just take it. There's no reason we should waste it. There's no miss. Ready now for all that's coming. We're standing at the edge of all that lies ahead. We got it, the life we wanted. It feels like everything is going our way.
各位来宾，我们的大会
Ladies and gentlemen, we will begin shortly. Please put your mobile phone and others' mobile devices on mute. Thank you.
尊敬的各位领
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to 5G for Good Summit. My name is Wang Lihuan, your moderator today. We know that 5G has entered the fast lane in the world, and as the digital foundation for new infrastructure, 5G is going to boost the upgrade in all 5 industries, including connectivity, AI, cloud computing, and industrial applications, and provide boost for the economic growth after the pandemic. Today, we're honored to have industry leaders and experts here with us to discuss the opportunities and values that 5G brings. First of all, it gives me great honor to invite Mr. Zhang Jianming, the Deputy Director of Shanghai Municipal Commission of Economy and Information Technology, to kick off the summit with an opening remarks. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a great pleasure to be part of Huawei 5G for Good Summit. The theme of the summit is 5G for Good, Innovate for a New Value. We will focus on 5G driving connectivity, cloud, AI, computing, and industrial applications industry upgrade. We will see the launch of Shanghai 5G Open Lab, and I hope the summit will boost the development of 5G industry and support Shanghai in building collaborative ecosystem. On behalf of the Commission, I would like to congratulate the convening of the summit. 5G is a priority in China. On March the 4th, at the CCP Politburo Standing Committee meeting, President Xi called for accelerating the new infrastructure construction, including 5G networks and data centers. As a priority in new infrastructure, 5G provides crucial support from the network side to data center, AI, and industrial internet. It will enable all sectors and become a new growth engine for industrial upgrade. Currently, Shanghai is focusing on infrastructure, application development, and pooling industry resources into building the first city with dual gigabit access. We have released opinions on the implementation of 5G network and apps, and a 3-year plan for 5G industry development and app innovation, as well as the action plan for new infrastructure construction to speed up the rollout of 5G and encourage industry chain collaboration for innovation. In terms of network rollout, by the end of July, Shanghai has built more than 25,000 5G outdoor base stations and more than 31,000 indoor stations of 5G. By the end of this year, we expect to see those numbers exceed 30,000 and 50,000 respectively. In Pudong and Hongqiao International Airports and 297 subway stations, we plan to have 5G coverage before the opening of the 3rd International Import Expo. And by the end of this year, we also plan to cover top 10 CBD areas in Shanghai with 5G. In terms of application, we will focus on top 10 industries. We have clear 10, 100, and 1,000 targets, and we will use industry applications to drive the integration and development of 5G across industry chain. We have seen more than 292 5G applications in smart manufacturing, smart healthcare, and smart education, represented by the applications developed by COMAC, AECC, Shanghai Waigaoqiao Shipbuilding, Zhongyan Machinery, CPI, etc. In terms of talents, we have focused on the talent demand of core enterprises in Shanghai for 5G and provided strong policy support. According to our preliminary statistics, there are more than 23,000 R&D talents for 5G core technologies in Shanghai, accounting for more than 52% of the nation. As the 5G rollout deepens in Shanghai, the key will be in exploring and promoting 5G's enablement capabilities for industry applications. We hope that with the establishment of Shanghai 5G Open Lab, we can focus on incubating applications, validating functions and scenarios, and investment to build the world-class 5G ecosystem platform to support industry collaboration. And we hope that the leading companies in the industry, including telcos, can leverage the advantages presented by Shanghai and attract the high-end talents to build a prosperous 5G ecosystem and implement 5G cutting-edge applications in Shanghai to support the industrial upgrade and healthy economic growth. Lastly, I'd like to wish the summit a great success. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Zhang Jianming. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Yang Chaobing, the president of Huawei Wireless Network Solutions, to deliver the opening remarks via video link. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The warmest welcome to all of you for attending 5G for Good Summit, Innovate for New Value. On behalf of Huawei, I'd like to thank you for your attendance and for joining us online. Today, as we still are in the pandemic, to be able to gather here is all thanks to the determination of pandemic control and prevention and economic recovery of the Chinese government. 5G has provided crucial support. Globally, 5G is commonly agreed to be a key in infrastructure development. China, Korea, the US, and EU have all accelerated investments and construction of 5G. 2020 is the first year of 5G commercial use. By July, there are 92 5G commercial networks deployed. China has the most abundant spectrum resources, the most physical sites, and most complete terminal industry chain, and the strongest support of government. With the new infrastructure initiative, carriers in China have speeded up the cadence of 5G rollout, and more industries have joined in the wave of exploration of 5G innovations and applications.
The large-scale 5G rollout in China will greatly boost the development of the whole 5G industry. High bandwidth, low latency, and massive connections of 5G make it possible for industries to achieve digital transformation. 5G will integrate with other emerging technologies such as AI, cloud, and computing, making it possible to allocate resources in an optimal manner, improving enterprises' operational efficiency and their intelligence level. It will also accelerate the emergence of innovative applications. 5G reaches hundreds of megabits in data rate, allowing consumers to download high-definition videos anytime, anywhere, and experience immersive AR and VR. In industry applications, 5G networks have played a unique role in port, coal mining, healthcare, among others. Later, our guests will give a detailed introduction to those use cases. Today, we have with us representatives from telcos, CAICT, Shanghai Economic and Information Commission, as well as representatives from the internet, finance and investment, port, coal mines, healthcare, and other industries. I hope all of you can fully exchange your ideas and jointly explore and find new value and opportunities arising from the 5G technology. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Yang. I believe just as Mr. Zhang and Mr. Yang said, our attendees will fully exchange their ideas and jointly explore the value and opportunities coming from 5G. I hope this will be a productive session for all of you. Now let's come to a very exciting part of today's summit. First, let's welcome on stage Ye Tan, the founder of Yetan Finance, chief economist of Huaxing, a famous financial commentator and columnist. He will she will moderate a high-level panel of 5G for Good. It gives me great pleasure to attend Huawei's 5G for Good Summit. As we know, 5G is a very hot topic. It's wildly popular. So what changes will 5G bring to consumers and enterprises? What is the progress of 5G rollout? And I want to know why Huawei proposes the concept of 5G for good. Next, we are going to talk about the 5G opportunities arising from 5G. Let's welcome on stage our panelists. Please join me in welcoming the panelists, including Yang Minghui, General Manager of CITIC Securities, and the Vice President of China Telecom Research Institute, Chen Yunqing. Please take a seat. And General Manager of China Unicom Research Institute, Li Hongwu, welcome. And also the Deputy General Manager of China Mobile Shanghai Industrial Research Institute, Mr. Huang Gang. Next, a great figure, academician of Canadian National Academy of Engineering and professor of Fudan University, Song Liang. Last but not least, President of Huawei's 5G product line, Mr. Peng Honghua, welcome. Please take a seat. Okay, let's get this panel started. As you can see, we have more panelists than our ordinary panel. This also speaks to the significance of 5G, and we have so much great talent. My first question is for Mr. Peng Honghua. The theme of this summit is 5G for Good, focusing on the 5 opportunities arising from 5G. The Chinese version of the theme is 5G, a homophone of 5G, indicating the 5 opportunities brought by the technology. So my question is, why Huawei proposes the concept of 5G for good, or 5G? Can you share with us your thoughts? Good morning, everyone. I'm Peng Honghua, President of Huawei's 5G product line. I'd like to take the opportunity to share with you 5G and 5G. 5G is a leap in the telecom industry. It's a new generation of technologies. It will bring significant changes to connectivity. By 2025, there will be 40 billion 5G connections. If you look at the Chinese market this year, in the first half of 2020, more than 60% of new devices are 5G devices, and many cities will have base stations, over 1,000 base stations. So the first opportunity brought by 5G is connectivity. As 5G brings more connectivity, it will also produce opportunities in cloud computing and other industries. It will give rise to new opportunities in various industries. 5G will unlock fresh industry opportunities, essentially. So today, we're going to discuss the 5 opportunities flowing from 5G and how they will create value for our society. So 5G will create 5 major industry opportunities, as you were saying. We have already identified some of the opportunities, and some of you have invested heavily to seize them. The finance sector usually leads the way. Today we have with us General Manager of CITIC Securities, Mr. Yang Minghui. CITIC Securities has invested in two 5G funds. I want to know what the two funds are about and if we have some opportunities. Can you share with us your observations, Mr. Yang? Well, we started work on 5G investment last year. As Ms. Ye said, this is an era of inclusive finance. We have a 5G ETF investment fund, and the return rate is over 30%, and the fund is worth 24 billion RMB. The second fund focuses on the integration of 5G and other technologies. It's worth 1.7 billion RMB, and the return rate is about 8%. Well, the semi-annual return rate of the first fund is almost 40%. That is already impressive. But the annual return rate of the second fund is more than 100%. That is even more exciting. I don't know if any of the attendees have invested in the 5G industry. So, Mr. Yang, can you give us more details about these two funds? What businesses are they investing in, and why did you make such investment? Well, about the details, there's some public information available. I will not go into the detail here. CITIC Securities invests directly and also in the secondary market. Our investment banking department also invests in emerging industries. I want to share our experience of doing this. Reform and opening up started 40 years ago. Today, technology will be a very valuable investment area. If you look at the technology sector related to 5G, I want to make 3 points. First, innovation in underlying technologies will produce opportunities. For example, infrastructure construction. We have invested in some infrastructure projects, and our investment banking division is serving related sectors. And also, people are upgrading their smartphones to 5G devices. Actually, I have a lot of information to share with you here. And also 5G applications such as AR, VR, IoV, cloud computing also are great areas of investment. And we have also invested in secondary market. Secondly, the integration of 5G and cloud computing will create many opportunities. They serve as infrastructure. They allow us to collect information, process big data, and apply it in telemedicine, finance, and other industry verticals. Many businesses are moving to the cloud, and we also pay close attention to the companies that have done successful digital transformation or cloud transformation. The Science and Technology Innovation Board has just seen a major chip maker being listed. Third, the integration of 5G and AI creates opportunities. There are so many video cameras, so much data is captured, which will be sent to the cloud for processing. For example, right now there are some AI-based video camera system to look for the people you need. And also you can take a photo and it will tell you how many calories the food contains. And the camera can also tell if a vehicle is overloaded. Applications abound, and many applications are beyond our imagination. So we invest in projects directly related to 5G and applications. Okay, let's give him a big round of applause for his fascinating ideas. Those working in the finance sector always lead the way. Just now, Mr. Yang mentioned several aspects. First, investing in infrastructure. Second, investing in applications. Third, investing in emerging technologies such as computing. The first fund related to 5G is worth over 20 billion RMB. That's huge. Those investing in stocks must have felt strongly that since the beginning of last year, 5G and IoT have been very hot topics. And 5G and other technologies have also been deeply integrated. I want to turn to another expert. In March, the central government said we need to accelerate the construction of new infrastructure exemplified by 5G. And there has been a very heated debate about new infrastructure. So the topic is not old infrastructure, but the new ones. There are many ways to engage in infrastructure. And where are the mature technologies? And what measures will Shanghai take to promote the integration of 5G and other technologies? And what are the mature use cases in these sectors? I will turn to Mr. Song Liang, an academician. Okay, this is a very broad topic. Speaking of new infrastructure, well, this is not a term coined by us. In the 1990s, the U.S. embarked on new infrastructure, calling it the Information Expressway, spoiling the internet sector. 5G exemplifies new infrastructure. It also includes big data centers. They are the hardware. We're talking about the need to create new industries. So software and applications and innovative services are at the heart of it. The internet, electronics, and telecoms industry are all working on it.
And in the future, after we go through the pandemic, in the next decade, how things will go, we really hope that new infrastructure will be a driving force for another round of economic growth. In Shanghai, we've seen a lot of efforts done by the municipal government. For example, at the second half of last year, the three carriers, China Tower, Huawei, and many industry vertical application companies worked together and deployed more than 2,000 macro base stations and developed 10 plus projects for applications using 5G. And this is quite necessary and much needed because now we're working on the Open Lab to support 5G VR, 5G XR, and intelligent networking, which is also a project ongoing in Fudan University, so that we can stimulate the cross-industry collaboration, because there are lots of companies in the industrial chain. If we could have a common platform, then we will have a better opportunity at incubating an industry, a new industry that will go beyond the scope of internet industry that we see now. Professor Song, please do not put the microphone down. I have another question as a follow-up. You talk about building an intelligent network, but as a non-technical person, if I go into that network jungle of intelligence, what convenience can I get? What benefits can I get as an individual or as a company? And how would that be different from elsewhere? Professor Ye, you asked a very good question. Dr. Ye, you asked a very good question. In Chongming, it's easy to develop coverage. We deployed more than 2,000 macro base stations to cover the whole island of Chongming. And the local infrastructure is not as good as other districts of Shanghai, so it's easier to build the next generation infrastructure. For the consumers, the most direct experience change would be faster speed. So 1 second to download a video? Well, that would probably be only the earliest benefits. For the whole industries, we do not want 5G benefits to be limited to faster internet speeds. It can also release great potential in supporting industry applications like smart power grid and education and healthcare. There are lots of innovative applications that could benefit from 5G. For the consumers, we not only want to provide unlimited bandwidth, we also want to provide intelligent services like autonomous driving with low latency, with more connections. This kind of large-scale intelligent services would only be possible under the 5G standards and with the support of 5G industries. So for consumers, there will be a revolution of online and offline experiences. When will we see that? In how many years? How many? Could you give me a number? Well, as far as we can see, the 5G industry applications are already being implemented. In 5 years, I believe the industry applications will experience rapid growth of development and innovation. For consumers' experience, this is the first year of industry application innovation to develop a fully fledged ecosystem. It will probably take 5 to 10 years. Okay, 5 to 10 years. Just now you have talked about the three carriers, China Telecom and China Unicom. You're working together with them in joint collaboration. Then I want to address my next question to a carrier representative. As the most direct participant of 5G rollout, what are the benefits that carriers see that 5G would bring to the economy and the society? I would like to invite the expert from China Telecom, then China Mobile, then China Unicom. Thank you, Dr. Ye, for the opportunity. As Professor Song said, the advent of 5G brings tremendous opportunities, especially for industry applications. One example is some innovations regarding smart power grid. Actually, we've only started the exploration in this field. We know that the power grid system is complex and enormous, from power generation to transmission, distribution, and consumption. This is an end-to-end process that is no less complicated than the telecoms network. How can we combine these two networks? Here, 5G provides a great capability, that is network slicing. With network slicing, this core 5G technology, we can get into industry applications. This is one typical example. And Dr. Ye, you talked about the opportunities that 5G bring from the perspective of carriers. It resonates with me quite a lot. We've been in reform and opening up for 40 years, and we've always started from infrastructure development to boost the other verticals. Carriers build the infrastructure, the highways of information. This is a solid foundation for everything else to prosper. If we didn't have 4G, we wouldn't be able to navigate, we wouldn't be able to order takeouts. But with 5G, we will see a deeper collaboration and integration with industries. The internet, smart government services, and cloud platforms all require strong technical support. 5G has three biggest features: large bandwidth, massive connections, and low latency. These three characteristics of 5G will make it more suited to serve the industries and will bring tremendous opportunities, even unprecedented opportunities for carriers. The state-owned enterprises need to shoulder the social responsibilities and boost the rollout of 5G and make sure that it is built to serve an intelligent society and intelligent economy. Mr. Chen, China Telecom has already taken up the banner in implementing social responsibilities. We know 2020 is a special year. We didn't know that we were going into such a big challenge at the beginning of the year. But we saw concerted efforts from all sides of the society. And apart from those heroes from the medical sector, we know that there are a lot of unknown heroes behind the construction of Leishanshan and Huashanshan emergent hospitals built in Wuhan in a matter of days. And I want to ask you, how was that made possible from the carrier side? Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you a story. When the pandemic broke out, we were tasked to build the information system, the communication systems for those hospitals, and we leveraged cloud resources to meet the challenge. Because usually to build an isolated IT system, it would take at least 10 to 15 days. But with cloud computing at China Telecom, with the elasticity of cloud and cloud resources, we were able to roll out the services within 48 hours. And within one day, we built the mirror IT system at Huashanshan Hospital. So it would leverage the IT system built for Huashanshan Hospital to be able to meet the security and reliability requirements. This kind of emerging technologies can help us meet the requirements of speed. And I believe in the 5 opportunities, cloud is a very important one. It is not far from us. We already are seeing it in action. Thank you. Hearing it actually inspires a lot of feelings and emotions. It's not only a matter of time. In the past, it would take 10 to 15 days, but now it takes only 1 or 2 to roll out IT infrastructure. And with cloud computing, distributed architecture, we're able to combine the forces and the strength of new technologies. And I'd like to thank all the heroes behind the scene, such as the telecom operators and equipment vendors like Huawei, for your contribution in a time of crisis. And I'd like to turn over to China Unicom. Just now we talked about innovative applications in power grid, but in other sectors such as port management, 5G and 5 opportunities have been combined and merged to create potential. And I've heard that in some sectors and some scenarios, no operators are required on the scene. Then I'd like to ask Mr. Li Hongwu from China Unicom to share with us how China Unicom is collaborating with the industries in leveraging 5G opportunities. We've heard that you're going to remove the miners from the mines, right? Well, it's a process. Thank you, Dr. Ye. China Unicom in the past years have worked hard in industrial manufacturing, especially the key sectors. As Dr. Ye, you have said, in ship making, aircraft, iron and steel, and mining. We have developed a series of influential and exemplary projects and applications. For example, in China, with a leading aircraft manufacturer using 5G and AR, we're leveraging intelligence to support assembly and manufacturing. And we're also using the advantage brought by large bandwidth provided by 5G. We're using 8K video and computer vision to perform detection of mechanical parts. Through these applications, we are able to significantly improve production efficiency. The data from these projects show that quality inspection efficiency is improved by at least 30%. This greatly improves the overall production efficiency. It also alleviates the pressure of quality inspection resources. Later on, I'm going to ask you to share with you a few more specific cases. I'm actually quite interested in improving productivity as we innovate, because that means we would reduce the pressure on manpower. And I'd like to ask you, what are the industries that you intend to reduce manpower demand?
Well, not only production efficiency is going up, quality is also being improved. For example, computer vision can be used to inspect performance of components. Men are prone to errors. People tend to be sloppy or careless from time to time, leading to problems. Computer vision can address the problem and improve quality. And this also means we need fewer people on the front line. Having said that, there is demand for other types of talent. So I'm not saying all people will be made redundant. We need new types of talent. If you look at big data, computer vision, and other applications, talent working in those domains will be badly needed. So on the one hand, workers on the ground will be reduced, and on the other hand, there's demand for new talent. For example, maybe we will need fewer accountants, but we need more people doing accounting, management, and planning, and things like that. As we know, in the 4G era, China Mobile was hugely successful. With the advent of 5G, what are your plans for the new technology, and what have you done related to 5G? Thank you, Dr. Ye. Based on what you said, I know you are interested in use cases. It's often said that 4G transforms life and 5G transforms society. So we are actively promoting the integration of 5G and other industries. 5G is not just for telcos. we did over 100 lighthouse projects of 5G. Let me give you two examples. At the MBB Forum last year in Switzerland, we released a smart port white paper. There's a typical use case. In the past, people had to climb up to a very tall crane and the working conditions were harsh. However, 5G offers high bandwidth, low latency, and high reliability, allowing people to control cranes in an air-conditioned room. And it takes only one worker to control 4 to 5 cranes. This improves the working environment and efficiency. As the event is being hosted right now, we are also working with hospitals in Shanghai to release a use case about 5G and smart healthcare. As the ambulance takes the patient to the hospital, a video of what is happening in the ambulance is captured and sent to doctors in the hospital so that doctors can know what is happening to the patient and make a more timely diagnosis. They're more likely to save the patient's life. 5G is a type of infrastructure. It's a network. It needs to integrate with various industries. Otherwise, it's for no good. After it's integrated with other industries, it can create tremendous value. 5G is a new type of IT infrastructure. By that, I mean the 5G network architecture makes it possible to distribute computing to the edges. The internet connectivity was already ubiquitous in the 4G era. However, 5G brings network slicing and other features allowing computing to be distributed to the edges. Take the Internet of Vehicles. Computing can be done on autonomous vehicles as well as on the central cloud. These two can be combined. In this way, we can improve computing efficiency. Third, 5G offers high bandwidth. In the past, data used to remain on a single node. Let me give you an example. Several days ago, I talked to banks. There's a lot of data generated by airplanes, but it can't be transmitted in a timely manner. The same is true in the ambulance case. There's massive data that is vastly valuable, but it's not transmitted to gain insights and create value. 5G networks allow for fast data transmission to create value. So these are the new changes, new infrastructure, new IT information architecture, and new data transmission. They will create more value for various industries. It seems the application of 5G is already happening. It has use cases in smart cities, smart ports, and so forth. Correct me if I'm wrong. What is the biggest difference between 4G and 5G? In the 4G era, everyone has a smart device. We can consume on the smartphone, and it supports scenario-specific consumption. In the 5G era, it seems smart devices are everywhere. If you look at light industry or heavy industry, all industries are connected to 5G. It seems 5G has transformed society and our economy fundamentally. So my question is for Mr. Peng from Huawei. Huawei is a 5G leader. So in terms of infrastructure construction, what has Huawei done? Correct me if I'm wrong. Mr. Peng said, I agree with you. From 2G, 3G, 4G to 5G, new opportunities have emerged. It's mainly because a new generation of mobile technology has produced new opportunities. Right now, the main use case is the video. This is already felt by consumers. But think about another scenario. Right now, if you want to use an app, you need to search for it in the App Store, install it, and then open it. 3 steps. But as 5G offers high bandwidth, going forward, you don't need to go through any steps of those. You just click on an icon and you can access the service directly. No installation is needed. And this is a feature provided by 5G. You can watch the video, stream the video online directly. You don't need to cache it or download it. Do I need to cache it? No. All the processing is done on the cloud. This is the opportunities created by 5G for the cloud industry. It will also generate opportunities for other sectors. Just now I said 5G is said to change people's behavior. It is also said to change the way people work in different sectors. Take ports, mining, and other industrial sectors. 5G can bring positive new changes. It is also valuable for telemedicine. It can correct the imbalance of distribution of medical resources between urban and rural areas and eastern and western China. In this way, people can access the same quality of medical and education resources across China. 5G is the cornerstone that can make all of this a reality. Of course, it needs to be combined with other cutting-edge technologies such as cloud and computing. Together, they will promote social progress. Huawei and other great companies are transforming our life. In the past, we thought they were only transforming the way we entertain ourselves and consume. But in the next 5 to 10 years, they will transform every aspect of our life, the way we work, the way we travel. They will touch all industries. We don't have much time in this panel. So my last question is for all of you. Please tell us in 1 sentence about the development trend of 5G in the next 5 to 10 years, and also what will be the 5G opportunities in the next 5 to 10 years. Let's start with Mr. Yang. From an investment perspective, 5G is not only for telcos, it also connects many industries. Data is growing explosively, and more consumption is moved to the online sphere. This will create new investment opportunities. One follow-up question. There will be investment opportunities in all industries related to 5G, and the returns on investment are really impressive based on what Mr. Yang said earlier. In the next couple of years, which of the 5 opportunities flowing from 5G are the most promising? Well, the way I see it, artificial intelligence and big data processing on the cloud are the 2 most promising opportunities related to 5G. Should we invest in a hospital or coal mine using 5G, or should we invest in cloud computing? Mr. Yang has a clear answer for that. My question is for the panelist from China Telecom. What are the opportunities in the 5G age, in your opinion? I think the 5 opportunities we're debating at the summit are exactly those that we need to pay attention to. the telecom network will not only connect people but also things. China Telecom attaches great importance to connectivity and cloud. Cloud is the major trend, and we believe in the integration of cloud and 5G. I think cloud will usher in a bright future, and intelligent connectivity will move everything online, will connect everything to the network. So basically it means there will be opportunities in all areas related to cloud and 5G. Yes, exactly. Cloud will create opportunities for all industries, but connectivity is the foundation. Without connectivity, data cannot move to the cloud. Only when data moves to the cloud can it be processed with AI and other emerging technologies. Next, let's come to Mr. Huang from Mr. Li, let me correct myself, from China Unicom. Sorry, I mixed the two of you. So what's your opinion? What are the 5G opportunities? As the previous panelists said, we're entering an age where all things are connected. 5G will be an enabler of industry digitization and upgrade. We as a provider of infrastructure, as 5G is widely deployed, we will help all industries go digital, and we will promote the development of various industries with the deployment of 5G. I believe we can play a part to contributing to the digital transformation of various industries. Does it mean it's a good idea for investment companies to invest in China Unicom if they want to invest in telcos? Well, different carriers have their own strength. It's important to integrate 5G with other industries to pursue innovation. Now let's come to the panelist from China Mobile. If you are making a recommendation about investment or you are investing yourself, what will be your suggestions? We want to integrate telecom networks with various networks and also serve the public. China Mobile has more mobile subscribers than any other carriers, and we also have more users of IoT than any other carrier. We always need to put people first. Our aim should be to serve humans and make their life better. That's why we say we want to integrate the network with various industries and serve the public. At the end of the day, we need to jointly build an ecosystem to better serve the people. That's what we place a high premium on.
In terms of what China Mobile is most interested in terms of investment, I guess you can pay attention to the investment company under China Mobile. Well, that's some very smooth advertisement. Well, anything that's related to a better life, the 5 opportunities brought by 5G to create a better life, seem fascinating. Then I want to ask Professor Song, as an expert in technology, what do you think are the relatively more mature and reliable 5G opportunities? Where do you think the opportunities lie? Well, hearing the panelists, I'm quite impressed by Dr. Ye and all the other experts in the industry. From the tech innovation point of view, 5G in collaboration with 5 opportunities will probably bring intelligent connectivity to intelligent networks. Connectivity means we're connecting things with intelligence, but in the end we want to create them into a whole. Enablement of 5G and AI is it's not an addition. We want it to be 5G to the power of AI. We want to use intelligence and the 5G network to serve the society and to overcome challenges of data processing. In the end, I look forward to a world of all things connected. Well, lastly, I'd like to turn to Mr. Peng to talk about the 5 opportunities in the era of 5G. Well, infrastructure is the foundation. Since the beginning, all industries have placed great importance in the investment, and through this infrastructure investment, all the industries, including telecom operators and industry partners, we will work closely to align the 5 opportunities. And then these 5 opportunities will unleash numerous potential to the world. As we can see, the vision is not far ahead. We see industry leaders like Huawei and Huawei's close partners, the top 3 carriers in China, are exploring at the front line with the experts and, very importantly, the funds from the society. They're all getting into 5G. By working together, I'm confident that 5G will be ahead in the world. Thank you. Thank you, all the guests. Please be seated. Thank you for the impressive conversation of 5G and 5 opportunities. It is quite inspiring. It is true. 4G changed our lives, but 5G will change the world and the society. And we have reasons to believe that 5G will bring limitless possibilities in all sectors. I would like to welcome Mr. Yang Minghui back on the stage, the president of CITIC Securities, to deliver the presentation on 5G connectivity creates new opportunities for investment in the fully connected era. Dear friends from media, think tanks, and investors, good morning. Thank you to Huawei for the warm invitation. Under the guidance of new infrastructure policy, 5G has received great attention. We say that 4G changes lives. As Mr. Peng said, 5G changes societies. I'd like to share with you our perspective on the opportunities that 5G brings. When we look back on the past 10 years, on the past decades, 2G has connected voice. It makes it easier for us to talk to our friends and family. With 3G, we were able to connect texts and images. One swipe on Weibo, we can get informed on the latest news. And the internet companies like Weibo, WeChat, and Meituan all developed during the time window between 2010 and 2012. 4G's high speed has brought new opportunities for video. TikTok, Kuaishous are some of the examples that marks the emergence of live streaming. And when we look forward, 5G will bring 30 times higher speed, but only 1/10 of the latency. What new things can we connect, and what new opportunities can we foresee? Well, if we look back on the development of 4G in terms of hardware, Huawei consumer business, as an example, saw the revenue increase from 74.7 billion in 2014 to 467.3 billion in 2019, a 7-fold increase. Other core players in the industry chain, such as Luxshare Precision for EMS business, saw a 9-fold increase in revenue, and camera maker Sunny Optical increased revenue by 4 times, and panel maker BOE increased revenue by 3 times, and battery supplier Songwanda increased by 6-fold, and acoustics earphones maker Gotek increased by 3 times. The economy of scale has improved profitability with impressive growth in profits and market value. In terms of applications, 4G has brought down the costs of traffic, and a group of internet companies, the household names, WeChat, Weibo, Didi, Meituan, ByteDance, TikTok, they all benefited from the development of 4G. Now we're more interested at what 5G can bring to us. First of all, 5G is different from previous generations of technologies. Ultra broadband combined with cloud computing, big data, and AI and IoT makes it the buzz line of ICT sector and the foundation of an intelligent world. It is something like the socket. The power socket provides power supply to the society, and the socket of 5G provides intelligence. Huawei's vision is to build a connected, intelligent, connected world. I think that's remarkable. Connectivity is a means, and the intelligent world is the end. There are mainly 3 areas of opportunities brought by 5G, we believe. B2B, B2C, and B2S. B2S is a new concept that we're proposing. We believe that 5G is going to impact the society in a profound way. Due to time limits, I cannot go into the details of all these 3 areas. I will only talk about one typical scenario in each of them. B2C is the first area where we will see new developments of 5G applications. And here a big opportunity comes from AR and VR. I'm sure all of you have experienced it just outside at the booth. My personal favorite movie is Ready Player One by Steven Spielberg. I highly recommend it to all of you. This movie shows us a new world. It imagines that in 2045, we will be in a new world of cognitive and interactions. We believe that AR and VR will deeply change the way we interact, and it's going to impact sectors like real estate, retail, tourism, live streaming, education, military, and medical care. It will bring brand new audio, video, and interactive experience to all of them and build a multi-dimensional digital world. According to IDC, AR/VR headsets shipment is going to grow from 8.9 million sets in 2019 to 6.8 million in 2023. And the market space of AR/VR in China will grow from 3 billion in 2018 to 65.2 billion in 2023. There's a 20-fold space for growth. And I'm sure, like it happened with smartphones and mobile internet, we'll see a bunch of new great companies in hardware and application for AR/VR. We talk about this internally as CITIC Securities. When a company opens up an account with us, we're going to give them a headset, and you connect it with 5G. And then you can have a chat with the celebrities that you like, or the industry researchers, the top expert, at any time you want. What kind of experience would that be? At the wealth management business, we have 7.5 million customers. Providing headsets for them would be a tremendous business, and there are more than 100 million fund holders of our Huaxia fund. Apart from B2C opportunities, the more exciting opportunity lies in B2B and B2S. 80% of the 4G traffic is in B2C, but in 5G we believe it will be the opposite. 80% of the traffic of 5G will come from B2B and B2S. This is why we believe 5G will change the world. 5G is going to implement ubiquitous connectivities between the digital and the real world. With digital twins, the productivity and social governance will greatly improve. Industrial internet will be a key priority. 5G has large bandwidth, low latency, and high reliability, which makes it very well positioned to play a crucial role in autonomous factories, flexible manufacturing, and precision manufacturing. Industrial control market space, because of 5G, is expected to grow from 179 billion in 2018 to 260 billion in 2021. B2S is a new concept we're proposing, B2 society. We believe 5G will be critical to improving social efficiency. It will be the bus that the digital society operates on. We have very high expectations. Improving social governance needs to start by improving the efficiency of transportation. This will create great values for the society. The autonomous driving enabled by 5G will restructure the automotive and mobility markets. There will be 4 kinds of reshaping. The first one being reshaping industrial architecture. The automotive industry composition will shift from car makers plus parts suppliers into auto driving system providers plus car makers, like Baidu. Second, it's going to reshape mobility experience. When we fully achieve autonomous driving, the interior of the cars will change greatly. It's going to shift from focusing on driving to focusing on entertainment and work. Thirdly, it's going to reshape mobility industry. Take Didi as an example. In 2018, Didi suffered a loss of 10.9 billion Chinese yuan due to large proportions of driver cost.
Let me give you some statistics to see how high the labor cost is. In 2017, Didi cars completed 7.43 billion trips. Each trip brought in 23 yuan, and drivers took 64% of the total. That is 109.3 billion yuan. That is the labor cost. Of course, when autonomous vehicles are used, the vehicle cost will go up, but it's much smaller than the labor cost. The self-driving taxi market captures a lot of imagination. Last but not least, logistics will be improved. Let me give you some statistics. In 2018, China spent 1.91 trillion USD on logistics, accounting for 14.8% of the GDP, compared with 8.4% in the US and 8% in Japan. This means China's logistics are inefficient and there's room for improvement. There's 6 times more last mile delivery than trunk line logistics. And in the last mile delivery, the labor cost accounts for 90%. If autonomous driving is used for last mile delivery, the overall logistics efficiency in China will be greatly improved. The other day, Some people talk to me about the biggest beneficiary of autonomous driving. The answer is the gaming industry, because when people don't have to stay at the wheels and drive the vehicle, they can play the games, meaning there will be more users of games. So much for industries. I want to move on to capital markets. In recent years, capital markets have gone through drastic reforms. The aim is to revitalize our tech industry. The registration mechanism has been introduced to the Science and Technology Innovation Board and the Growth Enterprise Market, allowing tech companies with core technologies to raise a decent amount of capital and get a good valuation. It has stimulated people's enthusiasm for entrepreneurship and research on underlying technologies. At the same time, capital markets are becoming more transparent, standardized, open, and lively. China will not only have its version of Silicon Valley, but also NASDAQ. CITIC Securities, the largest securities company in China, is committed to becoming the world's top investment bank. It is our mission to support China's tech companies and tech industry as a whole. We have invested in and facilitated the public listing of some top tech companies, including a top internet company, Alibaba, Luxshare Precision, a manufacturer, Xiaomi, a company working on smart life, and 360, a cybersecurity company. If you look at the chip-making industry, we support great chip makers in China, such as Lanqi Technology, working on memory interfaces, and Haiguang, a subsidiary of Sugang, which makes x86 processors. We have also acquired some top chip makers outside China to make up for the weaknesses of the domestic sector, such as Amplan, which makes radio frequency chips, and Huawei, which makes CMOS photosensitive chips, both world-leading chip makers. Finally, I'd like to talk about the vision of CITIC Securities. For the past 15 years, we have been ranked the number one investment bank in China. If you look at total assets, total revenue, net profit, investment banking revenue, asset management revenue, and direct investment revenue, and other key metrics, we are the best investment bank in China. But that's not enough. Made in China has gone global. Chinese technology has also gone global. However, Chinese capital is not as widely available as made in China around the world. It's not as influential. Our vision for the next decade is to build a global company and become a world-leading investment company, just like the Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, so that we can provide strong financial support to China's manufacturers and tech companies. We also look forward to joining forces with Huawei and other great Chinese tech companies to move forward. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Yang, for your speech. 5G will dramatically improve experience and enable ubiquitous connectivity. It will make our life easier. Now let's give the floor to Guo Ming, a director of Frost & Sullivan Consulting. The topic of his speech is 5G plus computing, building a ubiquitous device edge cloud-centered computing form. Let's welcome. Thank you. Thanks for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. I'm Guo Ming with Frost & Sullivan Consulting. I'm very honored to attend the 5G for Good Summit. The topic of my presentation is 5G drives cloud edge device collaborative computing. I'd like to share with you my thoughts on how 5G will disrupt our everyday life and the computing industry. Speaking of disruption, people who don't know much about the telecoms sector have been saying that 4G networks are good enough, delivering smooth experience for short-form videos and mobile games. There's no need for 5G. 5G is pointless. Well, it sounds plausible at first. In reality, they are using typical 4G use cases to assess the capabilities of 5G communications. Of course, they will find 5G pointless. However, if we focus on usage scenarios of 5G, we will reach a different conclusion. So what will be the new use cases of 5G? 5G is not commercialized at scale yet. We cannot forecast all new cases. Just like when 4G was first put into commercial use in 2013, no one expected short videos to be so wildly popular. Having said that, some new usage scenarios have taken shape. The most typical example is VR. Many of you have watched a movie called Ready Player One, mentioned by Mr. Yang, and in which VR headsets replace mobile phones as the primary gaming device. In real life, to achieve good VR experience, the latency must be less than 20 milliseconds, otherwise you will experience severe dizziness. 4G cannot support such low latency and doesn't have enough bandwidth for massive data. This slide also shows other 5G use cases that we are able to imagine today, such as the IOV and smart factory. They cannot be supported by 4G networks either. 5G achieves 1 millisecond of latency, gigabits per second in data rate, and massive connections. It is well equipped to meet technological needs of these services. It has made the unthinkable and the science fiction a reality. Now that telecom technology bottlenecks have been overcome, computing becomes the key barrier to implementing the services. It can be divided into two conversations, one on data volume and the other on computing power requirements. First, new 5G services pose a new challenge to the computing industry. That is, there is much more data to process. Take video. In the 4G world, we watch videos on video platforms with 1080p resolution. The image is sharp enough, and it means 1920 by 1080 pixels. But 4K HD video has been on the rise, consisting of 4 times more data than 1080p, other conditions being equal. For VR, 8K is necessary to provide relatively good user experience. An 8K video contains 4 times more data than a 4K video. That means a VR TikTok video will consume over 160 times more data than a regular short video. Another example is smart cities. Shenzhen has about 2 million cameras. A common one has 2 million pixels and generates about 11 gigabytes of video data every day. This means all video cameras in Shenzhen generate a total of 7.5 EB of data in 1 year. As 5G is rolled out, massive sensors and smart devices of various industries will connect to the networks, which will produce oceans of data that needs to be processed. This is the first challenge to the computing industry. Let's come to the second challenge, that is demand for computing power. Take autonomous driving. The two most well-known vendors of autonomous vehicles are Tesla and Google. Take a look at the statistics. Waymo Driver is one level ahead of Tesla's Model 3. To deliver better experience in autonomous driving, Waymo Driver has more than twice as many sensors as Model 3, and its main chips have 6 times more computing power. To achieve real autonomous driving, many more sensors and powerful perception capabilities are needed. Future cars will have many more sensors and greater perception accuracy. For example, many vehicle-equipped radars use 2-dimensional data. Moving forward, they will switch to 3D data. To see further and more clearly, future cars will need cameras with a much higher resolution. And there will be more demanding requirements on computing speed and accuracy. Let's say a car drives at 60 kilometers per hour, meaning it drives 17 meters per second. For every second wasted in computing, the risks increase for the driver and pedestrians. To sum up, according to Sullivan's estimate, a car will require 100 times more computing power in 5 years than it does today. You may have discovered that in the future, data and computing will not concentrate on a single node, but be distributed on the edge nodes. Is the current computing architecture up to the task? The answer is no. Under the current centralized cloud computing architecture, servers are concentrated in one big equipment room. All data is transferred through the backbone network to the cloud computing center, and the results are then sent back to devices. This model can meet needs of major computing tasks. Right now, in the 5G era, where all things are connected, services focus more on low latency, reliability, energy conservation, and environment protection and data security. The traditional model is not up to the task. To process massive data generated on the edges, some of the computing needs to move to the edge, formulating a device edge cloud collaborative computing form. Under this structure, tasks that are the most time-sensitive, confidential, and require most privacy protection are performed on the edge, while those requiring big data computing and storage are carried out in the central office, allowing the device, edge, and cloud to jointly perform computing and storage tasks. The new model has 3 benefits. First is responsive and has very low latency. Take smart manufacturing. Operations of the whole factory are optimized on the central cloud, while tasks like where a robot should pin the screw in the next second must be performed on the edge. Another example is cloud gaming. With the traditional model, the central cloud needs to process massive data, including image rendering, streaming, and transcoding, which could take 100 milliseconds. Users will experience severe delays. Under the edge computing architecture, edge nodes can perform the majority of computing, plus data is transmitted over a shorter distance, reducing latency to less than 5 milliseconds, barely perceptible to humans. The second benefit is better privacy protection. This is a topic of interest to many. Some services involve sensitive and private data, which businesses are unwilling to put on public cloud. A dedicated edge node can be set up to carry out computing, so data doesn't pass through the backbone network or is not processed on public cloud, ensuring better privacy protection. The third benefit is the structure is more economical and saves resources of the backbone network. Under this model, computing power is provided closer to users. Only part of the data is transmitted to the central cloud, saving at least 30% of bandwidth and delivering benefits of low power consumption and low cost. In the future, to achieve the device cloud edge collaborative computing model, we need to reconstruct computing power. 3 points. First, in traditional data centers, computing power is centralized. It needs to be distributed to the edge, meaning we need to change where computing nodes are deployed. Second, computing services are upgrading quickly in the 5G world. AI-related computing will account for over 80%. Data centers with CPUs as the primary computing units can't meet the needs. Servers and chips better suited to AI computing are necessary. Third, power consumption becomes a key issue. Changing the type of computing power is the most effective way to save electricity and reduce O&M cost. Computing power reconstruction brings at least 3 opportunities. First, in the 5G era, many mobile apps move to the cloud, changing the cloud computing requirements. Cloud computing will shift from x86 to the ARM architecture.
What I want to stress here is by moving to cloud, we mean that moving complicated computing tasks of applications to cloud so that terminal devices do not need to have high-performance CPU and GPU to provide convenient experience and reducing the restraints of hardware and the cost. Now, mobile apps are designed based on ARM instruction sets, whereas the DC chipset are designed based on x86. These are not matched. If we're moving mobile apps to cloud in the future, operating efficiency will be affected. So in the future, the data center industry would need to adopt ARM architecture instead of x86. What opportunities will that bring? According to our estimates, if we're moving to the game Honor of Kings to cloud fully, it will at least require 50,000 sets of medium configuration cloud servers. And by 2019, there are more than 5 million apps in the app stores in China. With the implementation of 5G, moving mobile applications to cloud will bring tremendous market space. Second opportunity comes from the increase in AI training computing power. We can compare several different types of chipsets. The first one is CPU with the most powerful management capability, but computing power is slightly weaker, not suited for AI computing. Second one is GPU. It's usually used for processing graphics. But later on, scientists found that GPU's architecture is very well suited for deep learning computing, so it's widely used in AI computation. And the third one is FPGA. This is a semi-customized programmable chipset. This is the most real-time, most flexible, and relatively low power-consuming chipset. This is also very suitable for AI computation and is widely adopted in many of the large data centers. The last kind is ASIC. ASIC is designed for specific purposes. It can be customized for specific customer requirements. It can be smaller, has lower power consumption and costs. However, it has poor flexibility and cannot be programmed. So with this comparison, we can see very clearly that in the future of 5G computing power system, CPU will play less of a role, whereas the other three types will play a bigger role, especially FPGA. This will be a big trend in 5G computing. And the third opportunity is that when all things are connected, zettabytes of unstructured data will bring computing requirements of high performance, high concurrency, and high throughput. A lot of devices that couldn't be connected will be connected in 5G, like street lights and manhole covers. These kind of infrastructure devices will be managed over the network. In 2020, we generate approximately 55 zettabytes of data globally. In 5 years, if the current trend continues, this number will be 3 times as much. And 80 to 90% of such a large amount of data will be unstructured. Unstructured data means it is not specified, such as video, audio, email, website, sensor data. Unstructured data will lead to a huge computing demand in 5G with the advent and the rollout of IoT. These requirements are typically high concurrency, high performance, and high throughput. This is a big opportunity for computing industry. By now, I'm sure that you understand what are the new requirements that 5G will bring for computing industry. And for the computing industry, another thing is the Moore's law is almost hitting the limits. And now, increasing the number of chipsets and servers will be the obvious choice because the chipset performance improvement is slowing down. In 2019, there are more than 3.6 million cloud servers in China, and AWS alone owns more than 4 million cloud servers. With the collaboration of edge cloud device collaboration, there will be tremendous growth in China. According to our estimates, mobile application moving to cloud, all things connected, all things intelligent, will drive a growth of hundreds of billions of US dollars market growth potential for the computing industry, especially in data center in China. That is all from me. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Guoming, for your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 5G for Good Summit, Innovate for New Value. Next, I would like to bring Mr. Qian Kai, the Managing Director of Research Department of CICC, to bring to you the next panel, 5G plus Cloud plus AI ushering in a new world of intelligence. The panelists are Peter Nie, Internet Solution CTO and 5G plus XGM of Huawei Cloud. Sky Ren, Vice President of NetEase and General Manager of NetEase Wisdom Enterprise Division. Liao Chunyuan, Co-founder and CEO of HiAR. Jason Zhou, Head of UI Cloud Game Department. Now, I'll hand over to Qian Kai and the panelists. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our panel. I'd like to first thank Huawei for providing the platform for us to discuss 5G, cloud, and AI industry opportunities, development trends, and our observations. We know that 5G rollout is underway at rapid speed. Every week, we see the rollout of 15,000 base stations. According to the stats of 3 carriers, there are more than 100 million 5G subscribers. And in terms of 5G applications, VR AR for consumers, HD video, and industrial applications, IOV, and autonomous driving, these are quite exciting landscape. And against this backdrop, cloud has played a very important role. In the previous panel, executives from telecom operators have also touched upon it. So I want to raise the first question to our panelists. What do you think 5G plus cloud is going to change? I would like to first invite Peter Nie from Huawei Cloud to answer the question. Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Peter Nie. What can 5G plus cloud change? This is a question that we started thinking about 2 years ago. And we were probably the first among our peers to establish 5G plus X. This may sound strange to you, but in 5G plus X team, we actively think about what difference can we make. We have incubated cloud smartphones, cloud game, cloud VR, and cloud HD video solutions. These are all powered by 5G, and our partners have all learned lessons and experiences in this journey. What difference does it make? Well, in several aspects. First, it's going to change the world from being 2D to 3D. The speaker from Frost & Sullivan, Andy Guo, talked about it. In the 3D world, video will require the large bandwidth that is only possible with 5G. And that will boost the development of AR and VR. And AI, rendering, computing power, transcoding, and streaming will all change. The business value and business model will also change along the way. Secondly, in the past, the way we work, the way we live are dominated by the brains directing resources. But in the future, it will be the brain in the cloud that will direct resources. I was talking to a partner of ours yesterday. They have been able to reduce the apparel production cycle from 10 days to several hours. They can produce more than 10,000 new products every week. This is built on top of the cloud resource capabilities. Thirdly, in the 4G era, we relied on computing on devices, but in 5G we will rely on cloud, edge, and devices. The cloud industry is only nascent. It's at a scale of about 10 million. But with the developments in cloud, AR, and VR, to an extent, it will replace the capabilities running on device, and it will, more importantly, enhance its capabilities. And it will provide 10 times and even 100 times more diverse possibilities, because devices do not have the capabilities to carry such complicated data models and interactions, but cloud has. So I agree very much with Andy Guo from Frost & Sullivan very much. So it will create great value for the society, for our lives. It will bring multidimensional interactions, and our production will be reliant on digital twins end to end, and it will greatly improve the efficiency. Thank you, Mr. Nie, for your perspective and the thoughts from Huawei Cloud. Next, I would like to turn over to Skyran from NetEase. Hello, everyone. My name is Ran Liang. Personally, I believe that 5G plus cloud will bring changes to the way we live and the way we work. take NetEase products as an example. We have NetEase Music app. At the very beginning, this app is based on downloading music from websites and then playing back on your own device. But then we realized a long time ago that this shouldn't be the case. We should be using cloud to stream music media. Now we're going into a 5G era, and we've realized that we not only can discover great music, but we can also discover great emotions. We have a new function of listening together, where you can, if you like a song, you can invite a friend to listen with you. This is only possible with the capabilities of cloud. This reminds me of a show I watched when I was in university. I still remember a scene from that show. The characters from the show were by the sea, and the guy made a phone call to the girl that he was dating. But now we can enable much more diverse and immersive experience of human connections. And in terms of the way we work, it will also change. During the pandemic and after the pandemic, we will continue to rely on collaborative working applications, and this convenience will greatly improve all the enterprises' communication and collaboration efficiency. I'm sure that 5G and cloud will lead to profound changes in our lives. Thank you, Mr. Ran. Your comments takes me back to the romantic years of my university time as well. And I really hope that with new technology, we can create new experience for everyone. Now I would like to hand over to Mr. Liao from High-AR. Hello everyone, my name is Liao Chunyuan from High-AR. I want to speak from two perspectives. One is technology, the other is application and business model. In terms of technology for AR, we think of it as ABCD. A represents AI, artificial intelligence. With 5G, the computing model has changed, especially with the collaboration of edge. The computing that happens traditionally on cloud will change to edge, and the processing on edge will be more powerful. And B represents big data. As Mr. Nie talked about, we're moving from a 2D to 3D world, and even ND, because of the massive amount of data and larger bandwidth to process it. C refers to collection. In industrial internet and AR collaboration scenarios, we have felt that 5G can significantly improve user experience because of lower latency and larger bandwidth, as well as more connections. And the D represents devices. With 5G, the computing that used to only happen on devices would be possible to run on edge, so that devices can be more lightweight and more convenient. This will be a big boost for the product innovations. The second aspect is applications innovation. In industrial settings during the pandemic, we've all realized remote communication has become very important. The network quality will be crucial to the user experience.
And also 5G is used in new infrastructure. This is a great opportunity for the practitioners in the industry. In the next 2 to 3 years, 5G coupled with new infrastructure will bring tremendous opportunities. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Now let's turn to Mr. Zhou from UI. Hello everyone, thank you for the introduction. I'm Zhu Jie from UI. UI is a gaming company dedicated to gaming development and publication. So I want to share with you how 5G is used in the gaming industry. 5G offers low latency and high bandwidth. And couple that with infinite computing power, you will see the implementation of cloud games. Right now, games still have demanding requirements for devices. Right now, with the advent of cloud gaming, it will dramatically transform the industry. Right now, there's no need to install the gaming app. You can start playing the game anytime, anywhere. So games will no longer be distributed in a centralized manner. And it will give rise to new ways of game publishing. Right now, there will be fewer restrictions for gaming devices. This will also create new opportunities in game creation so that game developers can develop large-scale games and innovative ways, such as games in AR and VR. A previous speaker mentioned Ready One Player movie. This is a typical example of cloud gaming. I think that day will become a reality. This will help game developers to create large-scale games to better serve gamers. Thank you for describing the digital transformation opportunities brought by 5G and cloud from different perspectives. You have mapped out a wonderful blueprint for the digital economy underpinned by 5G and cloud computing. In the first half of 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic caught us all by surprise, disrupting our life and work. But it has accelerated the digital transformation. We've found that telecommuting, telemedicine, and online education have been widely adopted almost overnight. So my next question is about 5G applications. You know, the 5G applications are already there, but how about the commercialization process of 5G? 5G has to be commercialized to support the applications. So the next question is about 5G commercialization. My question is for Mr. Li of Huawei Cloud. What role has Huawei played in commercializing 5G? And what is the progress in 5G commercialization? I think we're still in the initial stage of 5G commercialization. There are more 2C applications than in the 2B domain. Other 5G standards, URLLC and massive machine type connections haven't been made available yet. So in the next 1 to 2 years, related applications will be a reality. Right now, enhanced mobile broadband is already an available feature. So the 2C applications are already there. We have done a lot of exploration, but there are still some challenges. One of the applications is cloud gaming. Mr. Zhou Jie knows this very well, and his company is a long-standing partner of Huawei. In terms of cost and experience, there's still room for growth for cloud gaming. It works in some scenarios, but it's difficult to roll it out at scale. When 5G is utilized at scale, there will be some 5G native applications. Right now, they are not there yet. So what will be the 5G native applications be like? Well, in my opinion, it will involve complex computing and complex data models, 10 times more complex. or even 100 and 1,000 times more complex than in the 4G era. Under this data model, there will be interaction. That's my understanding of 5G native applications. This will dramatically increase the cost of computing and bandwidth. Take cloud gaming. The cost of computing will be 10 times that of non-cloud games. Cloud VR's computing cost is 30 to 50 times higher than that of other regular games. How do we ensure the app is cost-effective? The gaming app is good value for your money. To address this problem, Huawei Cloud is committed to providing fertile soil to enable other players in the industry and helping them to solve the issues about the basic architecture and the issues about cost. Meanwhile, we look forward to joining forces with partners in the ecosystem. Our billing model is very simple. It's a pay-as-you-go model. You are charged based on how much computing power or bandwidth you use. One of our partners is NetEase. The NetEase music app charges people based on how many songs they have listened to, and our billing model is a pay-as-you-go one. That's my answer. Thank you, Mr. Li. Based on what you said, Huawei Cloud has built a very good platform for the partners. Now let's turn to Mr. Liao of High AR. 5G and cloud have boosted the development of cloud games. You once said 5G is giving an impetus to AR applications. So my question is, what are the VR practices supported by 5G and cloud that have already been commercialized in your company? Thank you. I think it all comes down to creating value for customers and making sure it's good value for their money. We have worked with Huawei Cloud to implement several practices, including in smart cities, healthcare, and industry. In the wake of the pandemic, it's obvious people recognize the significance of the technologies. Last month, there was a news report on Valen Xiangtan steel and iron plant. Equipment was purchased from Austria and Germany, but the foreign experts couldn't be on site. So 5G technology and AR headsets were used to facilitate communication between Chinese workers on the ground and foreign experts. This is a very good use case, and customers highly recognize the value of it. What really touches me is the leader of the customer said this has helped them address the problem. This is an example of how 5G coupled with AR and cloud can facilitate communication. As a result, people can reduce their travel cost and allow us to better utilize expert resources and accumulate more expertise. These are the tangible benefits felt by customers. I think the key is to create value for customers. If it's just a publicity stunt, it's for no good, it's pointless. So this is an example of how 5G, cloud, and AR have delivered value to customers. Let me give you another example. We have a customer in South Korea who's also using 5G and AR technologies and Huawei Cloud. Right now, we are using more domestic components and technologies, and we are using the ARM architecture. And this facilitates communication between people in and outside China. So this is an example of how the value of 5G and AR is brought out. During the pandemic, remote diagnosis and treatment was another use case. And also smart transportation is a use case. And these have been made possible through collaboration with Huawei Cloud. They have demonstrated the value of 5G and boosted the development of the ecosystem. Thank you, Mr. Liang. Let's turn to Mr. Zhou from UI. 5G supported cloud gaming captures a lot of imagination. I'm a gamer myself. I have high expectations for cloud games. Actually, I'm not concerned at all about how to monetize games. Just now, Mr. Li said Huawei and UI have released an interactive live broadcast solution for 5G cloud games. So my question is, what value has the solution created for your company and the gaming industry, cloud gaming industry as a whole? Interactive solution is quite innovative. It's one scenario in cloud gaming, but it can create immense value for the gaming industry. Interactive live broadcast turn a game into a social networking platform. In other words, people will be able to watch others play games and interact with them. So you can do some socializing. You can invite your friends to watch you play games or even play the game for you. We released the solution together with Huawei, and it has attracted a lot of attention. The solution is being implemented in our company right now. It's very beneficial for the game in terms of increasing app stickiness and user engagement. Why did we choose this solution? Because network technologies are evolving quickly and the cost is coming down. So we'd like to start from a small use case. And it's already bringing to us a lot of innovation and opportunities. We're not only working with Huawei, we also have other partners. And this solution is an independent one and provided to many game developers to empower them. You will be able to experience this feature in a short period of time. Thank you, Mr. Zhou. Now I want to turn to Mr. Ran from NetEase. NetEase is a traditional player in the gaming space, and it's a top internet company as well. I don't want to talk about games today. I know that NetEase is also working in the 2B space for a very long time, and it has many solutions. So I hope Mr. Ran can share with us your progress in the 2B space by utilizing 5G and cloud and your commercialization. Mr. Li has a very good point. We need to do some innovation related to usage scenarios. It relies on infrastructure such as carrier networks, Ali Cloud, and Huawei Cloud, etc. One of our key areas is to help applications such as utility apps, social networking apps, or gaming apps to leverage the infrastructure such as networks and cloud resources. What we do is provide instant messaging services. NetEase is very strong in music and games. I can describe the scenario to you.
There are lots of scenarios in gaming, and our advantage is in social networking side of things. For example, in October, one game that we operate will organize a seminar within the game. There is this merge of reality and the virtual. We will invite experts to join the seminar, and the seminar will be organized as a meeting that happens within the game. and that is supported by our 2B business, and will use Huawei Cloud and the bandwidth provided by telcos. And in terms of music, we have the feature that I talked about, Listen Together. This is supported by our technologies in NetEase, and we're also supporting remote healthcare and education with more interactive experience. In the future, we'll see more innovations in this area, and NetEase Wisdom Enterprise Division will also grasp the opportunities by collaborating with partners like Huawei and telcos to innovate. Because at NetEase and at our 2B business, we have always believed in joint innovation and making the world a better place with technology. Thank you, Mr. Ran. In the first round, you shared with us a very romantic scene, and now you've shared with us a very beautiful scenario of online meeting happening in a game, having online interactions in the virtual space, unlike the traditional meeting, the traditional stage that we're in dressed in suits. As we know, 5G and cloud has brought a lot of new things to us as we're going through the pandemic. And as Dr. Ye talked about and asked about, how many years can we see a big difference? I'm doing research. We believe that there's always a pattern. We overestimate the short-term changes that a technology or an industry will see in the next 1 or 2 years, but we often underestimate the long-term changes that's going to happen in 5 to 10 years. So I want to ask all of the panelists our last question. The 5G ecosystem, the 5G plus cloud ecosystem, what challenges and what future opportunities will it see, including in social networking and 2B? Let's start with Mr. Rat. From NetEase perspective, what do you think are the challenges and opportunities? Well, two things I believe. In terms of challenges, there will be two major challenges. The first one being a technical one. We know that the future of 5G is bright and the air interface latency is low, but there is the law of physics. The central DC, if it's placed in Hangzhou or Beijing, and we have a user in Urumqi, then the latency will inevitably be quite large. We need to innovate and make breakthroughs in technology to reduce that. But that is also limited by costs. Take NetEase as an example. We have so many gaming and music users, but it's not possible for us alone to deploy so many edge nodes. So this is quite a challenge. It requires concerted efforts from all parties, including Huawei and others in the industry. And the second challenge is in innovation, I believe. When cars were invented, people were used to riding carriages. They couldn't imagine how that experience would be riding a car. But now we can innovate the application scenarios, but our imagination is somewhat limited. We're imagining instant interactions. I'm sure there are limitless possibilities, but with the challenges, I'm sure there lies plenty of opportunities. Once we've reduced the technical barriers and the costs, there will be tremendous business opportunities in the future. Thank you, Mr. Ran. I would like to invite Jason Zhou from UI to respond to this question, the challenges and the future of 5G ecosystem. Well, cloud gaming will indeed impact the gaming industry. Currently, the industry needs to get prepared. at China Joy, I've observed that cloud gaming is quite popular, but we need to have big ambitions, but also stay down to earth. As Mr. Ran said, there is the challenge of bandwidth and the other technologies. We need to continue to optimize the technologies. And at Yunyo, we intend to fulfill our roles. We will continue to innovate. And I'm sure in the future we will see challenges to Tencent and NetEase. But we need to stay down to earth rather than pursuing the hot air that is coming out. At Yunyo, we're quite clear-headed. Using cloud technologies, we are currently targeting small, detailed scenarios, but we want to make it work. And this role, I believe, applies to all companies that are attempting to apply cloud technologies. I think staying down to earth is quite a piece of wisdom. Then, turning to Mr. Liao, what do you think are the future and challenges? Well, they've all said quite well. But I also want to come back to the technical challenge because the biggest one is coverage. Currently, the model is that Huawei and one of the telcos will deploy the network, and we will be able to use that. But what about wind power? It's far away in the rural areas where there is no 5G coverage. It takes time to roll out 5G. And there is also the matter of costs. On the devices, the modules are still quite costly, and it takes time to reduce the costs. And the second is market education, because to use it, it really depends on scenarios, like the remote collaboration in industrial settings. This is not a new concept, but for the users, the customers, they need to feel the benefits, the value of using it. And in recent years, this is starting to happen. And we still need to do more work in this regard. For the enterprises, we do rely on technologies. We do recognize the value of technical innovations and evolution, but is it also recognized by the market? This is still something that needs to be proven. And when it comes to the ecosystem, if we don't have good content, be it in quality or quantity, then or diversity, then we will not be able to move forward as quickly as we want. And if you look at AR, this is the next computing platform after PC and smartphone. With 5G and cloud, this computing platform is bound to grow and develop. Huawei is also putting in a lot of efforts in building the fundamental AR software and hardware. I see great potential in this sector, and I really hope and look forward to collaborating all the partners in the vertical industries and application developers to build a healthy ecosystem. In the next 5 years, we will see great things happening. If we look back 20, 30 years, we will find things that are very strange and far away to us. But when we look back on today, years from now, 5G 2B and 5G plus cloud, AR, VR, cloud gaming will all be possibilities. Thank you, Mr. Liao. I'd like to end with Huawei. Huawei customers are full of visions and ambitions, and I don't think we need to have any concern over the future of Huawei cloud. But I'm sure there are challenges ahead, and I'd like to invite Peter Nie to comment on it. Well, the first challenge for us is cost. For example, cloud gaming. The computing architecture is changing. We're moving computing to cloud, and on the device, it's only display. But what this brings is that the demand for cloud will be 10 times than before. Cloud AR would be dozens of times. How do we reduce costs? With cloud technologies, every year we continue to reduce costs by reusing resources, by collaboration, and by using RTN network. We reduce 30 and in some cases even 70% of the costs. This is all in our roadmap. But the other thing is quite relevant for telcos. It's related to bandwidth. For cloud gaming, for consumers, the data plan is enough to cover. But on the cloud side, the bandwidth is quite large. So we really hope that we can work together with telco partners on the technical front and the business front to really stimulate the growth of 5G business scenarios maturity, to see its development at scale. Of course, partners like High AR are playing at the front stage. They will receive more value. If the cost grows by 100%, the cloud platform can help them mitigate it, and the telcos can even bring more benefits to them. And this requires concerted efforts. And on the technical front, many of the panelists have talked about it. We need to go through an upgrade of architecture. As a cloud provider, we need to provide APIs with redesigned architecture. We need to work together with telcos to deploy the cloud resources so that users can use them easily. And this is something that we need to do together with the ecosystem. We need to first deploy the infrastructure and then allow cloud edge device collaboration to be possible. And how low a cost we can achieve really depends on how much effort we put in. And in the end, we want to create new experience. In 4G era, we see the development of short video. This is something that a lot of people didn't expect. But with 5G, we can already foresee a lot of new value coming out. The goal is to incubate 5G native applications that will not be possible without 5G. These will be the fuel for the development in infrastructure, and we will see growth at orders of magnitudes. Thank you, Ms. Nye, and thank you all the panelists. Digital economy is quite a hot keyword talked about by the industry experts and analysts. I believe that 5G plus cloud would be the fundamental architecture for the digital economy. Only when we have a solid architecture can we truly have a healthy growth and a future digital society. 5G plus cloud is also the tool for the world to go through transformations to become a better place. And this will only happen with the support of 5G and cloud technologies. We're only at the beginning, and we expect to see remarkable things in the future. Thank you for all the panelists. Thank you all the guests for your sharing and your insights. Please return to your seats.
I think he has a very good point. We're just getting started. There will be infinite possibilities. Shanghai has all along been at the forefront of 5G rollout. Today, we are very honored to have with us some guests to witness the launch of Shanghai's 5G Joint Innovation Center and 5G Open Lab. Shanghai's 5G Joint Innovation Center is one of the key 5G projects of the Shanghai Economic and Information Commission in 2020. Under the guidance of the Commission, it's being planned by Shanghai's 5G Cloud VR Industry Association and Shanghai's new ICT Research Institute. It's being implemented and operated by Shanghai Geruzi Data Technology Company, and it has network and technical support of Shanghai Unicom, Shanghai Telecom, and Huawei. Industry partners such as Wanda have also contributed. It focuses on 5G application incubation, function testing, scenario verification, training, and converting investment into research results. So we're going to invite the guests on stage. Let's invite Qian Xiao, Director of Shanghai Economic and Information Commission, Mr. Xu Weizhong, the Chief Strategy Officer of Huawei's wireless network product line, Ren Qi, Executive Vice President of Shanghai's New Information Technology Application Research Institute, Zhu Zanbei, Wanda Business Group Vice President, and Chen Chen, Assistant to the General Manager of the China Telecom Shanghai Marketing Department, Gao Song, General Manager of China Unicom Shanghai Business and Trade Center, Dr. Cai Xuesong, Secretary General of Shanghai Industrial Research Institute, Jiang Jiangyuan, Director of Huawei Semiconductor Company. We are going to launch the Joint Innovation Center together. Please put your hand on the launch table. We're going to count down from 3, and we're going to launch it. 3, 2, 1. Please launch the Joint Innovation Center. And 5G Open Lab. Now let's welcome Mr. Qian Xiao and Xu Weizhong to step forward and unveil the 5G Open Lab. Let's give them a big round of applause, and let's take a group photo. Thank you for witnessing the launch. Please take a seat. We hope the 5G Joint Innovation Center can accelerate the development of 5G industry and help Shanghai to build a collaborative and innovative ecosystem. Right now, in smart healthcare, remote education, smart campus, business travel, and cultural services, 5G use cases are gradually becoming mature, and they are being replicated at scale. In sectors such as electricity, mining, gas and oil, port manufacturing, steel and iron, and others, 5G is being integrated with these sectors to achieve digital transformation. Now we will welcome on stage Ms. Chang Jie, Head of Ecosystem Engagement, GSMA Greater China, to moderate a panel on 5G plus industry application to accelerate digital transformation of various industries and build a fully connected, intelligent world. Let's welcome. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Chang Jie from GSMA. It gives me great pleasure to moderate the panel on 5G and industry applications. GSMA is a global mobile industry association. It has worked with 750 carriers and over 400 industry members. Standards and cooperation have been the defining trend of our industry. 5G is flourishing right now, so let's hear from the front runners in 5G industry application. First, let's welcome on stage Vice General Manager of Quicktail Wireless Solutions, Director of the Development Department of the China-Japan Friendship Hospital, Director of the National Telemedicine and Connected Health Center, Mr. Lu Qingjun, Chief Scientist, East China Branch of CAICT, Mr. He Renlong, Yangquan Co Group Company, Deputy General Manager, Mr. Yu Beijian, and the Director of Technology and Information Management Department of Zhejiang Seaport Group, Mr. Ren Hailong, Mr. Gan Bin, Chief Marketing Officer of Huawei's wireless network product line. Welcome, and please take a seat. From 1G to 5G, I believe all of you have felt the fundamental changes in your life and work. The telecom technology has changed everything. 5G is a new engine of the digital economy, and it's enabling various industries to achieve digital, networked, and intelligent transformations. Today we are going to discuss the industry applications of 5G. It's almost a lunchtime, so first we are going to have a bit of interaction with audience. Please, let's see a show of hands if you have been to an underground coal mine. I can only see one hand putting up, and one person on the stage has also raised his hand. So my question is to Mr. Yu. It seems the underground coal mine is quite dark, but when 5G was initially rolled out, Yangquan Coal Group joined hands with Huawei and China Mobile Shanxi to deploy 5G base stations in underground coal mines. Why did you do this, and what do the services mean to your industry? I'm going to answer the question with 8 questions. Actually, everywhere I speak at engagement, I mention two of the questions, and the rest 6 questions are closely related to today's 5G for Good Summit. Question number 1. How important is coal in China's energy sector? To be honest, without coal, China's industry wouldn't have developed so rapidly. That's the case for the past, the present, and the future. Coal has powered 70% of China's industries. This is the importance of coal. Second, what do you think of the coal industry? What is the image of this sector? Just now we saw one person putting up his hand. I've been to an underground coal mine as well. But among the 20 plus attendees, only 2 have been to an underground coal mine. Most of you know of coal from news reports and from the TV and so on. And I don't think you think highly of the sector. I want to share with you my thoughts. Well, the image of the coal industry is about to be transformed. Take Yangquan coal industry. Right now, machines are used in 100% of coal production. Some of the production systems are already automated. Going forward, they will go intelligent. And that will happen in a short period of time. So I hope the attendees, journalists, practitioners in the industry can change your impression of the coal industry. I do not expect you to change your impression or dispel your doubts immediately. I just encourage you to pay closer attention to the coal industry and see how it is evolving. We have deployed 5G base stations in underground coal mines, and it's the first for many colleagues from Huawei and China Mobile to go underground. Before the male workers went underground, they made a phone call to their wives because they were concerned that they may not be able to come back once they go down. But they immediately changed their perception after they do go to the underground coal mines. The third question is about the progress of deploying 5G base stations in our group. We work with China Mobile and Huawei to set up a 5G innovation alliance focusing on coal mining. In October, 5G base stations were deployed for testing. It was 400 meters underground. There were many coal mine laneways. There were straight laneways, but there were also some twists and turns. 400 meters is quite long, and we find that the base stations could meet our requirements for underground coal mines. So we also have some security requirements for 5G networks, and we have worked a lot on this area. Even during the pandemic, we were working tirelessly. On April 29th, we have ensured that 5G base stations could meet our security requirements, and now they are operating in a stable manner. Right now, we have achieved 5 coverage in underground coal mines. On June 12th, Xinhua News Agency reported this and conducted a live broadcast in both English and Chinese to a global audience. And they interacted with audience far afield. So these are the 5G networks that have been put in place. We are also pursuing breakthroughs. Just now, other panelists said 5G is only a means of telecommunications. The key is to integrate it with various industries. By deploying 5G networks in Yangchuan coal industry, we have looked at our industrial practices and we have worked closely with Huawei. My gratitude goes to Huawei's 5G team in Yangchuan Coal Group, as well as their research workers. We have achieved 3 major technological innovations related to 5G. First, the uplink rate is increased to 1,100 megabits per second. Just now, I've heard some panelists speak, and their rate is not even as high as the rate in coal mines. This is the first major breakthrough, and this paves the way for further applications of 5G in coal mines. Second, a second breakthrough is related to time slot ratio. Right now, we're focusing on the downlink rate instead of uplink rate of 5G. But when it comes to coal mines, a lot of information is uploaded, and there are very few requirements for downlink rates, because downlink is only for transferring instructions. That's why we changed the time slot ratio, and now it's 1 versus 3. This is another important breakthrough.
The third breakthrough is latency. We're moving to have a latency under 30 microseconds to achieve precise control. And in terms of 5G development, we're also building 3 key scenarios. One is backhaul coverage. A lot of you may not understand. This is a dynamic and major working scenario for coal mines. 70% of our scenarios are based on fixed devices, fixed equipment, but the coal will come out at this dynamic working plane. Cutting the coal and shipping the coal, it's always moving. And now we have deployed 5G in this collection site. Hundreds of equipment using fiber optics and 5G connections can transmit the sensor data and the commands of operation to the equipment. And 5G played a critical role here. The second scenario is the support of the alleys. This is strongly related to the coal collection. Currently, we have ground level control, but it has not moved deeply into the underground alleys. And the third scenario is the patrolling of fixed locations. On Monday, CCTV showed the Xingyuan coal mine underground mining operations from Yangquan coal industry. If you're interested, I recommend that you find the video. A lot of things that used to require human monitoring now can be transmitted over video running on 5G. In the first panel, Dr. Ye asked about removing operators in industries. Will it be possible in mining? Yes, but only in some scenarios. In some other scenarios, there are more complicated requirements. Currently, we're closely following up on the works of 5G. The first being the standardization. For any work to continue to be sustainable, we have to have technologies and standards. The China coal industry, Huawei, China Mobile, and many other device manufacturers and 5G device makers are working closely to develop the enterprise standard of 5G coal mines at Yangquan coal industry, and this will be a reference for the coal mining industry across China. Second, we're following up on the 5G product developments. We need lots of developments in products that will be combined with our scenarios for it to work. And thirdly, we're looking at how 5G can be combined with current machinery and automated control systems. And lastly, at the current stage of 5G industry's development, it's no longer limited to one industry or one enterprise. It is the work for all of us. According to the NDRC of the State Council directions, the opinions on smart mines construction, and according to the opinions by Shanxi province and other local governments, there is a consensus. There will be 2 time points that are critical. First one is that by 2025, in some large coal mines and those coal mines that are safety sensitive, we need to implement smart coal mines. In 2035, the second time point, most of the coal mines in China need to adopt intelligent technologies. And these two time points make things quite urgent for us. The requirements from Shanxi province is even higher. By 2025, large coal mines and those prone to disasters need to adopt intelligence. In 2030, we need to achieve intelligence in across coal mines overall. There are lots of technologies that are needed to achieve that, including 5G network transmission. It plays a critical role. And 5G being in the picture also brought new things to automation and machinery. Therefore, intelligent coal mines will definitely be built on top of 5G, and 5G will bring long-lasting and profound changes and tremendous opportunities. And it will also benefit the national power security. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Yu, for sharing with us quite comprehensively the perspective and social responsibility of a leading energy company in China. We hope that next time we organize an event like this, we can organize it under the coal mine. It's no longer the stereotypical black coal mines. As Dr. Ye hosted the first panel, she was talking about if we could remove manpower requirements in coal mining. And I was thinking, when we do that, we would like to invite Dr. Ye to do a field trip to see if we truly did that. Yes, and this also proposes requirements for the practitioners in the tech industry, reducing latency and guaranteeing reliability and so on and so forth. And this will definitely speed up the developments in this field. Next, we would like to turn over to Mr. Lu Tingjun, the Director of Development Department of China-Japan Friendship Hospital. Before we begin, I would like to extend and pay our highest respect to all the medical workers at the hospital. Thank you for your hard work during the pandemic prevention and control. Thank you. When we talk about 5G's application in medical care, one of the greatest achievements is done in collaboration by China-Japan Friendship Hospital, Huawei, China Mobile, China Telecom, China Unicom, and CICT, and etc. And more than 100 hospitals. You have together defined a set of standards. And what are the new developments you can share with us? Well, currently we're talking about experience at the connection level. When we were trying to build 5G at hospitals, we found that it is not satisfactory. So in collaboration with more than 100 hospitals, we developed the standard for the 5G construction in medical systems. And this, in terms of 5G equipment to deployment and acceptance, they're all covered by the standard, and it's quite comprehensive. And for remote medical care, smart medical care, especially using cloud edge collaboration and AI systems, it plays a very important role. We have already done the testing of cloud edge collaboration, running a side-loaded equipment of intelligence. And this year we have applied for the research projects designated by National Standards Committee, and we are already engaging with the standardization of efforts in China. We're eager to share the results with everyone. Yes, in terms of the tech application, standardization is always leading the way. In terms of using 5G in medical care, especially remote medical care, what do you think are the values? I like to borrow the words of Mr. Ren Zhongfei. 5G is a tool. It provides large bandwidth and easy connection. It is the infrastructure, but more importantly, it will develop AI. In medical care, we've seen wide adoption and application of artificial intelligence in our clinical work. But with the combination of 5G and internet, large hospitals, medical resources can be broadened to support the rural hospitals and clinics. With the development of artificial intelligence systems, we will be able to increase efficiency, and we will also be able to connect cloud, edge, device, and user all together. When you go to a hospital, you may use the smartphone to check your report rather than getting a piece of paper printed out. And you may also receive images that may be 1 gigabyte in size of your CAT scan. And we can also combine the demand of our patients with these technologies. We will be able to slice the network into two. When we are running 5G base stations at hospitals, we can provide 5G services for patients, but also we can use it for our staff and for the equipment. This is only made possible by the tremendous benefits of 5G and by the powerful 5G base stations that companies like Huawei are making. For us, the bottleneck currently is devices. Not a lot of patients are using 5G phones, and the medical equipment to be connected to 5G still needs an upgrade. They're developed based on 4G, and with that upgrade to 5G, we will be able to better leverage the benefits of cloud edge device collaboration. And with the SA architecture, we will be able to use network slicing to provide dedicated pipes, dedicated network slices for specific tasks to provide more security, more exclusive guarantees for the data services and for the AI applications that will be running in our work. And this is something that we can work together with all industry partners with. You have really sounded the call for more collaboration across the industry. 5G brings fast connections, but it also requires a smart brain. It requires intelligence, especially in an industry like medical care, to really address the mismatch of demand and supply in this sector. Thank you very much. Next, we would like to turn to Mr. Ren Donghai, the Director of Technology and Information Management Department of Zhejiang Seaport Group. But before we do that, we would like to ask the audience a question. Do you know what is the ranking of the cargo throughput of Zhoushan Port in Ningbo, Zhejiang Province? Okay, I see a few hands up. Can you tell us, Mr. Ren, what is the ranking currently? Zhoushan Port in Ningbo ranks for 11 consecutive years #1 globally. Well, that deserves a round of applause. As a leading company, as a leading seaport management company, what are the applications that are adopted in your scenarios, and what do you think are the ones that will be valuable for not only your cases but also the industry?
Thank you. As you know, ports are very important infrastructure, and they are also the bellwether of the national economy. With the pandemic ongoing, On March 29th, President Xi Jinping came to Ningbo Zhoushan port. He first visited Zhejiang province as the national economy was reopened, and one of his first destinations in Zhejiang is Ningbo Zhoushan port. This speaks volumes to the significance of the port. For 11 consecutive years, the port has been the world's largest port in terms of cargo throughput. When President Xi Jinping was still working in Zhejiang province, he proposed the idea of combining Ningbo and the Zhoushan ports. And he has set some targets for us. He asked us to use world-leading technology and services to build a world-class port. And one of the important things is to build a smart port. In recent years, if you look at China, we have made significant headway in smart port construction. One important metric in a smart port is the level of intelligence and automation. Qingdao Port in northern China and Yangshan Port in Shanghai have all achieved unmanned ports. So China has done increasingly better job in port management. The working conditions in ports are very complex, and there are many equipment on the go that's been moved around all the time. In the past, it was difficult to transmit data to and from mobile equipment that's on the go in real time. This is where 5G comes in to address this challenge. We have done some very good exploration and made breakthroughs. 2 years ago, Ningbo Zhoushan Port worked with China Mobile, Huawei, and Zhonghua Company to build a smart port. And we provided 5G coverage on gantry cranes. In March 2019, 16-channel video backhaul was made a reality. In the first half of 2020, with the support of China Mobile and Huawei and Zhonghua, for 6 gantry cranes, 5G has been applied, and 5G has been implemented for them to achieve remote control. A previous panelist already touched upon this issue of remote control. Mr. Yu also mentioned requirements for bandwidth and latency. For us, the latency must be less than 20 milliseconds, and it should be less than 50 milliseconds at least. Right now, 5G has been implemented on 6 gantry cranes. Secondly, 5G network slicing and edge computing also come into play in smart port. We work with China Mobile to build a very secure technology for smart ports. It has very demanding requirements for remote control. This is the first for Chinese port to apply 5G at scale in ports. This is the contribution we have made to smart port management, and this is indeed a showcase project. Moving forward, Ningbo Zhoushan Port, along with others, will focus more on driverless or autonomous driving, and also automated material picking and AR-based positioning by working with other partners to achieve breakthroughs in 5G application. Ports badly need 5G. And also, 5G has delivered some very good benefits to ports, although there are still challenges to overcome. So smart port is no longer something on the horizon, it's already a reality. And it has improved the working environment. Just now he mentioned automated control, autonomous driving, and other features that have been implemented. We look forward to more smart ports. Now I'll turn to Mr. He from CAICT. Do you still remember when Release 15 of 5G standards were released? It was in the run-up to the World Cup in 2018. You know, the football match was about to start in the afternoon, and Release 15 was announced at noon. In July this year, R16 was also published. So from the standpoint of standard evolution, what are the new features that we should be looking forward to in R16? And what will be the key features outlined in R17? What will be the killer functions? Thank you. 5G is different from 4G in that 5G is deeply connected with cloud and it's continuously evolving. R15 standards were announced in 2018. That's the first release. It should focus on availability of 5G networks. So after they were released, carriers across the world have obtained 5G licenses from regulators. On July 3rd, R16 was released. That's the first time a resolution was reached online in 3GPP because of the pandemic that's still spreading. It was originally scheduled to publish R16 in Shanghai in April this year, but it was delayed. So the first release is Release 15, the second one is Release 16. That's the complete version. And now people are working on Release 17 that focuses on more enhanced features of 5G networks. So the standards are still evolving gradually. Just now, experts from industries, including a director from China-Japan Friendship Hospital and the coal mining industry and the port industry have talked about industry applications. Let's think about the essence of telecoms, that is to provide connections, valuable connections. Industries have come up with very useful applications right now. We need to achieve the economy of scale and truly create value for different industries. If you look at the consumer internet, there are huge industries in both China and the US. Right now, information is being transmitted over consumer internet to empower consumers. 5G, however, will connect different industries to unlock productivity. In this process, as standards are being developed, the standards should really focus on requirements of industries and seek to address their pain points. So as standards evolve, they will be more closely related to different industries. Humans are able to find the content they need, but machines can't. So industry-specific 5G standards will be very complex in order to cater to all the needs. Shanghai Information and Technology Research Institute, a local association, has been set up. The aim is to combine telecom technology with specific industry requirements. The China-Japan Friendship Hospital and the ports have used 5G. If all of the 10,000 ports in China can be connected to the network and cloud. That would be great, but it's not going to be an easy matter. Therefore, carriers need to combine 5G with industries in an in-depth manner. There are about 30 top hospitals in Shanghai and also many other medical institutions. All of them need to utilize 5G networks. The standards will not be developed single-handedly by people in the telecom industry or those by the healthcare industry. It requires joint efforts of both parties. So 5G will be more open going forward, and it will be integrated with various sectors, including the platform or the association led by Shanghai's Economic and Information Commission we mentioned earlier. This is how 5G will transform society, production. This is one and the same thing. And this is how telecom carriers can come up with more industry-specific applications. So basically, you're saying we need to listen to voices of industry customers as we develop standards so that they can better cater to their needs. Well, Mr. Sun, modules are very important to connecting the physical and the digital worlds. Every one of us has a smartphone. I think modules are as important as smartphones in the industry context. And 5G features massive connections, low latency, and high bandwidth, as mentioned by many panelists. But since different industries have different needs, the challenge to use 5G in them is very huge. What has your company done, and what products have you rolled out? Thank you for your question. I also want to thank Huawei for inviting us to talk about industry applications. Our company specializes in telecom network modules. You have given a very good comparison or analog. In the IoT world, modules are as important as smartphones in the consumer world. And it involves a lot of enterprises downstream the supply chain. Outside the hall, you may have seen some demos involving different companies. For example, if you are shopping in the mall and the POS machine fails and it has to be restarted, definitely customers will complain. They will not be happy about the delay. Or if the smoke detector or fire detector fails to work, the consequences will be severe. That's why we have huge responsibilities. Our company was founded in 2010, and 2G modules were released. We were calm about the release of 2G modules. 2G was around for many years, but there weren't so many applications. Phones were only used to send text messages and make phone calls. That's the case for 2010. We started building 3G modules in 2012. We were somewhat at a loss. We weren't sure what's going to happen in the future. People were expecting changes from 3G, but the changes weren't really remarkable or notable. We were only using 3G to send picture messages, and then 4G came along. We started to feel very excited about this new age because it brings many new technologies. For example, TikTok, Kuaishou, and e-commerce platforms like Taobao and so on are the new consumer applications, and also internet gateways and IoT are new applications born in the 4G era. But there are still something missing because 4G focuses on connecting people, not things. In 2016, we released some new modules. We also joined GSMA. We really felt a sense of belonging there. And we find that 5G is really about massive connections. So ever since then, standards on massive connections have been under development. And MB has also been incorporated into official 5G standards. Everyone is talking about the other two features of 5G. It's very, very exciting. So this is great opportunity for us. Having said that, the road ahead is filled with challenges. There will be a bumpy journey. Last year, we released Qualcomm X Snapdragon module together with Qualcomm. Together with Huawei in London, we also released 5G modules in February to support applications in education, coal mines, and so forth. In Q4, we are going to release another module based on another domestic company.
So we will have products running on two platforms built in China as well as the Qualcomm platform. So we will have three platforms supporting our products to give more choice for our partners. And if you allow me to take a bit more time, I'd like to show you, even though we support multiple platforms, the module itself, the product itself, it may have 12 or more antennas. Qualcomm not only provides the module itself, but we also do the RF design. When you get the board from us, you can develop the 5G dongle and connect to the 5G network immediately. You can see that in our booth as well. I'd like to talk about two examples. We provide technical support, but I would like to continue on the 5G for education idea that Mr. Peng was talking about. We have not achieved equality in education yet. We have not made opportunities of education accessible to everyone. And what we're doing right now is to use 5G live broadcast, leveraging the advantages of large bandwidth and low latency, to broadcast the classes in the rural areas in the northwest of China, to bring benefits to the society. And we also have customers working on 5G backpack. I remember it was in April this year. We had the first hiking team that measured the height of Mount Everest many years ago, but this year in April, we did the first live streaming of with 5G on top of the Mount Everest. As a practitioner in the industry, it is quite exciting, and we are honored to be trusted and supported by our partners and customers. You talk about that in 2G you were calm, and in 3G you were confused, and in 4G you were excited, but in 5G you feel even more excited. But we hope that the products that you represent will bring excitement to all of us, and it will provide the safety and security requirements that all the industry sectors require. Of course, that's some great responsibilities. Thank you. I'd like to then turn over to Gan Bing, the Chief Marketing Officer of Huawei Wireless Solution. Huawei is an obvious leader in 5G. There is a quote from Huawei that is being spread quite widely, that is, as the digital foundation of new infrastructure, 5G will trigger the industry upgrade in connectivity, AI, cloud computing, and industrial development. And recently, the division chief of MIIT in China talked about 5G bringing 1.52 trillion RMB growth between 2020 and 2025 for the digital economy in China. That is a huge impact, and this puts a lot of responsibility and pressure on the foundation. How is Huawei proposing to go ahead? Well, I was thinking, just now you asked if we visited underground coal mines. Actually, I did. I just remembered. When I went to Shanxi as a tourist. I went to one of the coal mines to visit. So let me raise my hand now. And I have to say I'm quite proud that I remember 2-3 years ago when we talk about 5G in China, we talk about the uplink bottleneck. We are proposing enhancing the capacity and the throughput in 2017. In 2018, we talked a lot about our solutions. We talked about 1.1 gigabyte per second uplink bandwidth, and it's now a reality in the coal mines in Shanxi province. And this is something that I feel quite proud of. I want to share 3 things here. We've always strived for improvements. The previous panel talked about cloud and AI and gaming and the prosperous development of B2C sector with 5G. But in B2B, there is some difference. The first one, as a technology provider, we need to collaborate with all the industry partners to understand the features and the requirements that are specific to the industry, to provide a technical solution that can satisfy these requirements, like large bandwidth and low latency, and as Mr. Lu said, the requirements in the hospital setting, using one network for 2 purposes, etc. And that was slicing. This is what we need to do when we design the solutions to address the pain points in the industries. Secondly, we found that there is a difference between B2B and B2C models. With 2G, 3G, and 4G, we moved from selling connections and data, and for the carriers, once they build a network, they can sell to subscribers, they can sell SIM cards and package plans and reduce and get return on their investment and reduce costs. But for 2B sector, we face thousands of industries. There are many sectors, and all of the panelists already represent 5 industries here. But there are 1,000 more out there. And all the industries have their own characteristics, their own requirements. Mining requires large bandwidth, another requires low latency and reliability. So the industries have their own requirements that are unique. And how do we replicate success cases across industry? This is a process of development. When I talked to a carrier executive, I was inspired by the analogy that they used, that now we're building 5G like refurbished houses. We already have standards for using 5G in various sectors, and only then can we deploy the solutions at large scale. For B2C, the business model is clear and simple, but for B2B, there will be multiple parties involved. The carriers, supported by Huawei, and module suppliers. But after we've built the refurbished houses, we also need to build the standards which are incorporated in the furnishing. And then Mr. Yu talked about a very exciting target of adopting intelligent technologies by 2030 across all coal mines in Shanxi province. But then we need to replicate the successful cases of the refurbished houses, of the existing solutions. And as the CICT expert said, we also need to think about standardization, continuously evolving the standards and enhancing capabilities. Now we are at R16, moving to R16 to R17. We're also discussing internally how do we move onwards to R18. What are the new capabilities we can enhance on top of 5G to help the industries achieve business success? These are the 3 points that I want to share with you, and I hope that in this journey we can work together to contribute more. Well, for B2C, 5G is like a 2D picture. We face homogeneous users and focus on scale. But for B2B, we're looking at a 3D picture. Each industry has their unique characteristics. How to design specific solutions and then replicate those solutions across industry is a big topic of research. 2020 is a challenging year. No one expected to encounter such a serious pandemic. Several decades earlier, in 1990, Chinese government designated Shanghai Pudong as the new district of economic development, of reform and opening up. And in 2019, the GDP of Pudong district alone exceeded 1.2 trillion, larger than the GDP of a city, Changsha. In the past 3 years, 5G has been piloted and validated in many industries in China. As the industry chain matures, standards, modules, and devices will also be more and more powerful, and we will be able to build, implement, and replicate industry solutions based on 5G. And to support the growth of digital economy, contributing at more than 12 times the GDP of Pudong. And that requires the collaboration of all sectors and mobile carriers, technology providers, and service providers. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, all the guests, for your sharing and your insights. Just now, the panelists shared from their industry's perspective on what they think and believe will be the new potential made possible by 5G. And we are confident that 5G will make our lives easier, better, and more intelligent. Next, I'd like to invite Tai Xu, the Chief Strategy Officer of Wireless Network Solutions of Huawei, to kick off the 5G B2B ecosystem. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of Huawei, I'd like to once again extend our sincere thanks to all of you for attending the summit. 2019 marks the beginning of 5G commercial use. Now, 5G has entered commercial use globally, especially in China. 5G rollout is accelerated. We expect to see more than 1 million base stations of 5G globally. 80% of them will be in China. And we will see a total of 300 million subscribers globally. We've talked a lot about large bandwidth, massive connections, and low latency provided by 5G as the digital foundation of new infrastructure. 5G will synergize with cloud, AI, and more emerging technologies to fuel the growth of thousands of sectors. There are plenty of opportunities, whereas we also see challenges. The panel just now, featuring esteemed panelists, talked a lot about the challenges. From all the industries, we need to look at the requirements, we need to look at the demands and devices, and there will be quite unique sets of requirements.
The 2C market has been around for 40 years. It is very mature, but applications in the 2B domain are just getting started. So the last part, and also the most important part of today's summit, is about how to build a 2B 5G ecosystem. This is very important. We need to bring together experts from different domains and industries to define scenarios and requirements, as well as solutions. We need to exchange our ideas fully. This will determine if the 2B market of 5G can grow rapidly going forward. In the past year, Huawei has already started working on a 5G 2B ecosystem. On your table, you can see some materials about the 5G 2B ecosystem. 46 partners have joined us. They come from industry verticals such as 5G industry communication modules, 5G industry communication devices, 5G antenna, smart healthcare, smart cities, smart mining, smart manufacturing, so on and so forth. They are the top companies of the industry verticals. This is just a beginning as 5G is rolled out. HiSilicon, Qualcomm, and Unicom have also seen their large-scale shipments of 5G modules. 5G has been piloted in many industries. By the end of the year, over 100 5G industry terminals will be launched and commercialized. This is a very good start. Huawei will also open up the 5G 2B Open Lab to industry partners so that we can work closely together to do testing and incubate applications for 5G to grow the market. Today, together with 46 partners who have been on board the 2B ecosystem, we want to kick off the 5G 2B ecosystem, and we also invite more partners to join us so that we can build a healthy and prosperous 5G ecosystem. In this way, we can truly build a fully connected, intelligent world. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Xu. Please stay a bit. We're very honored today to have with us representatives from 36 enterprises. We're going to welcome them on stage to witness the launch of Huawei's 5G 2B ecosystem. Okay, so let's welcome representatives from Huawei, think tanks, and different companies. Please take the white paper along with you. And we're going to take a group photo on the stage. Today we have with us representatives from smart healthcare, smart manufacturing, and so on. In total, there are 36 companies who will join us on stage. Welcome. Please take down your badge. Okay, let's work with the whole society and explore in delivery model, policy support, innovative application, and diverse devices, and truly benefit from the 5 industry opportunities flowing from 5G and embrace the era of 5G for good.